Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another Thundercougarfalconvlog. I'm Riki, and today I'm going to be talking about the Wisconsin State Fair. Okay, so on Thursday we went to the Wisconsin State Fair, which was a lot further away than I had anticipated. Seeing as how Madison is the capital of Wisconsin, I would just naturally assume that the Wisconsin State Fair would be in Madison. Wrong. It's actually in Milwaukee, so from where we are, it's about 2 hours away from here. But it was really cool. It was definitely worth the drive. We left pretty early in the morning, and I wasn't driving, so I got to sleep the whole way there. We got there a little after it had actually started. It was actually supposed to start at like 8, and we didn't get there until like closer to 9 or so. But it was actually probably a good thing we got there when we did, because if we had gotten there right at 8, there would have been nothing to do, because even at like 9, there wasn't really much going on. They were still kind of getting all the parking situated, and people were still slowly sort of filtering in, and none of the rides or anything really seemed to be up and running. But it was pretty sweet. Did a lot of really interesting things that you would really only get to do at a state fair. For example, we saw a fully animatronic dinosaur show for $1, which was actually pretty cool, and it was worth $1. Except for the very end, where I was under the impression that one of the dinosaurs had tipped over, but it turned out that it was actually this Triceratops that was being murdered by these other dinosaurs. It was like on its side, and it had like a chunk missing from its side, and they had like this red light on it, so it looked like it was bleeding, and it was like looking all terrified, and there's a T-Rex on top of it, basically insinuating that it's killing it. Not cool. Not cool. It was pretty entertaining. We didn't do any of the rides or anything, but there was a lot of cows everywhere and horses, because apparently State Fair is not only a place where you can go to eat lots of heavily fried things and ride rides and play games, but you also go to show cows. Saw a lot, did a lot, ate a lot of things. Not nearly as much as I wanted to, though. First thing we did when we got in there was this booth like right as you walked in, and it was this like milk company, and they had like all these different flavored milks, and you could get like a cup for like 25 cents. And, they had regular and chocolate and strawberry. But then they had like banana and root beer and cherry vanilla. And I got the banana because I remember the good old days of Nestle's Quick Banana Milk Mix. And it was amazing. And you can't really find that anymore. Adrian had the root beer, which I was a little skeptic to try. But it was amazing. It was basically like just drinking a melted root beer float. It was fantastic. If they made it in gallons, I would buy it and drink it every day. The main thing that I wanted to find when we were at the fair, well, there was 2 things I was on the search for. 1 was cheese on a stick. 2 was chocolate covered bacon, and I did find both. Had lots of stuff. There was just food places like everywhere, and there was all the food carts and booths and everything lined up all over the place, and there was corn dogs and the funnel cakes, and there was even some that were actually getting kind of, a little fancy up in there. They had like London broil, and they had like gyros, and they had some like actually pretty nice food booths set up, but it wasn't just strictly kind of, state fair. And then they also had all these buildings and everything where you could go into the buildings to get the hell out of the heat, because it was like 90 some odd degrees. And they had all kinds of food. One place that just made like grilled cheese sandwiches. There was, beef jerky, and there was, people that sold like summer sausage, and these people specialized in chicken, and these people specialized in lamb, and these people specialized in some other kind of meat. And there was just a lot of food everywhere. I had some chicken rings, which were really delicious. It was essentially just onion ring shaped chicken nuggets, but they were good stuff. I wanted to get one of the grilled cheese sandwiches, but the line for that was like ridiculous, because everybody wanted to have a grilled cheese sandwich. And I don't blame him, because who doesn't love grilled cheese sandwich? I didn't have that, but I did eventually find the fried cheese on a stick, which is always delicious. Always takes me back to the good old days of hot dog on a stick, where my mom used to work. And then I came across the place that had the chocolate covered bacon, which was definitely interesting. I wasn't really expecting it to be chilled, but the guy like pulled them out of a cooler, and they were pieces of bacon dipped in chocolate. And surprisingly enough, it's really good. You know how like chocolate covered pretzels or chocolate covered sunflower seeds are like a really good salty sweet combination? Yeah, chocolate covered bacon is an even better salty sweet combination. And I'm pretty sure they even put more salt on it than the actual already natural saltiness of the bacon. Didn't get to have a funnel cake. I had some of Adrian's funnel cake as we were leaving, because after I had the cheese on the steak and the chocolate covered bacon, we eventually made it over to the cream puff pavilion, where they sell like these gigantic cream puffs, and it's basically just this big fried cake thing that they cut in half, and then they just pile it like this tall with whipped cream. And I don't like whipped cream, so I didn't get one of those. But they did have these brownies, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll have a brownie. And I'm expecting, just a regular brownie. This thing was like this big, and it was completely just coated in frosting. And it was really good, but it was probably the sweetest, most rich thing I've ever eaten in my life. So that pretty much killed me for the rest of the day. So I didn't get to eat as much as I wanted to, because I was like, I'm going to have this and I'm going to eat that and I'm just going to eat the whole day. But that brownie really did me in. So, but there's next year. They had like everything there. They had, the deep fried candy bars and everything, which I didn't get to have, unfortunately. Which reminds me, Payday's highly underrated candy bar. I got one today because I was at the store and I was starving. And as I was checking out, I was looking at all the candy, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to get a Payday, because Paydays are delicious, and people don't appreciate them enough. Everyone's like, oh, Snickers, it satisfies. You take Snickers, it'll last longer, whatever the hell they want to say. And I think Paydays are a hell of a lot better. Like, I don't mind Snickers. I like chocolate. I like caramel. I like peanuts. I like nougat. But for some reason, the whole combination of Snickers really just doesn't do it for me. But Paydays are delicious. You need to appreciate them more, because they do everything for you. Other than that, don't really have much else to say. The Wisconsin State Fair was awesome. I definitely plan on going back again next year and eating a lot more, and this time I will stay the hell away from those, coma-inducing brownies. One last thing I do want to say before I leave. I recently happened across this totally awesome page, I guess you'll call it, on YouTube. I decided that I was feeling nostalgic, and I wanted to look up old classic commercials from when I was a kid. So I'm on YouTube because I figured, well, there's going to be stuff on there. So I'm looking up like classic commercials, and I find this one site on there that's called 80s Commercial Vault. And they seriously have like hundreds of volumes of commercials from the 80s. There's stuff from the 90s on there. There's everything. And each video is like 10 minutes long of just commercials. And it's actually really cool because there's a lot of really cool old commercials on there, and you'll see like old Toys R Us commercials and old, cereal commercials and all this old stuff, and it's just nostalgic as hell, and it's awesome. So I highly recommend you check it out. Click on this copy of Better Off Dead to go see that right now. And that's going to do it for me. I'm going to get out of here, and I'm probably going to go do other stuff. Probably play Halo. See ya.